First down and 10. Thomas comes in underneath, and there's DeAnthony Thomas, dances free. And DeAnthony down by the 20-yard line of the ball game. And it's the freshman's first touchdown. DeAnthony Thomas, number 6, and what a career he figures to have up in Eugene.
Have carried the ball, but have just not been able to gain the yardage they need. Oh, the Black Mamba! Down the sideline! Out of bounds inside the 5. 24, Thomas again. Going forward, lobs it wide open! Again, DeAnthony Thomas. Danny O'Neal was quarterback of their Rose Bowl team. Rich Brooks' last team here at Oregon. Wide open. Thomas, what a move! Breakaway speed! The Black Mamba striking again! Touchdown, Oregon! 69 yards!
High. Pretty good kick. Going to come down at the 10. Here comes DeAnthony Thomas. Makes one move and he's through the hole. Here goes DeAnthony across the 40. DeAnthony Thomas to the 44-yard line. Childs is going to punt it. DeAnthony Thomas is deep for Oregon, standing at the 20-yard line. Showing him a lot of respect. It's a kind of a low liner. DeAnthony's going to come over and try to get to it. It actually hits a Missouri State guy. DeAnthony somehow picks it up, and look at him go. DeAnthony Thomas near side. Has a couple guys to beat. Runs to the corner. DeAnthony Thomas to the 50, to the 40, and out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
Reverse. Into the open field is DeAnthony Thomas, and he will cruise in for the touchdown. Thomas firing to the end zone. Touchdown, DeAnthony Thomas. Gain the lead, 21-15, as Darren Thomas throws a strike to DeAnthony Thomas. Thomas is everywhere, and he puts points on the board for the Ducks. And here it comes. Pressure from behind, the throw wide open. DeAnthony Thomas has it, and Oregon is up by 14. Second half on third down. Thomas. Let's make it 5 for 5. Let's make it another touchdown for the freshman, DeAnthony Thomas. Three touchdowns in the third quarter, 8 seconds remaining in this quarter. Thomas right down the middle, he's got his man, and guess who? DeAnthony Thomas. What a night the freshman is having.
In a tough game. Now it's in the red zone. And they run the option and pitch it out. And there's DeAnthony Thomas taking it to the end zone. Here's a young man who's a true freshman. And rankings, it'll be out for the BCS. The Ducks will have the first possession. They won the flip. They deferred. And coming out from the end zone, Thomas jitterbugs the freshman. He's got brilliant speed to the 25-yard line with Canada, and he goes right back off. And they come back with Thomas, the freshman. And goal. Touchdown, Thomas.
The cheat up, or are they staying back?
And Barner explodes into the middle. Check that. That's DeAnthony Thomas, who had checked into that running back spot.
45. And getting a touch right now for DeAnthony Thomas. Into the secondary he goes. Look out. Making a miss. He's in. Touchdown.
And this may be the most explosive freshman in the country, and DeAnthony Thomas in the open space now. Look at these moves. Try this in your backyard.
He had to feel for two.
Yeah.
Now Fernie kicks it away. Thomas and Jackson fielding Thomas from the 7. They turn him in, but he still makes a miss. And into the open field. Look out, he's gone. Touchdown, DeAnthony Thomas and Oregon.
One of the great players in NCAA here, because this guy can take it like nobody else in this country. His 11th touchdown of the season. You could put your morning cup of coffee on that helmet. You wouldn't spill a drop.
38 yards on his last 6 carries. It's Anthony Thomas with a nice land again. Running up the back of his blocker downfield, the wide receiver.
2-yard field goal. And he kicks away from the 30. Anthony Thomas. Watch out. Watch out. Thomas. 40. 30. Pulled down inside the 25-yard line. Freshman phenom in the backfield. Thomas. The pitch. Thomas. Thomas to Thomas. Touchdown.
Darren is back under pressure, drops off the screen. Anthony Thomas coming down the sideline, going for the end zone, and he steps in for the touchdown on a 4th and 7 call.
So disciplined, all of a sudden the play action's there.
Another play action, middle open, got it, touchdown. Anthony Thomas, Black Mamba strikes. And the Ducks will see what they can do about this 24-7 deficit. Fielded at the 18-yard line by Thomas. Anthony Thomas with great speed gets to the corner and is tripped up. Good kickoff. Fielded at the 4 by Thomas. And they run the reverse. Fake it. And Thomas keeps it. Thomas has still got it. 45. Midfield. Can Adari stop him again? No, sir. Touchdown, Oregon. 96-yard kickoff return. That's his 2nd kickoff return for a touchdown this year.
Obviously, Oregon needed something, Brent, and they got it from Anthony Thomas, a fake reverse. But watch the block. Remember when Adari made a play? Watch the block this time. This time they take him on, head on, get that kicker out of there, and give Anthony Thomas some room to run. I think it was Brian Jackson, a defensive back, that made the block. But last time we saw Adari cover that kick, he stopped Anthony Thomas. This time, they get enough of him to get him out of the way, and then Thomas makes the play in the open field, and there aren't many people on this field that can stop Anthony Thomas, the true freshman, in the open space and room to run.
The ball at the Ducks' 43-yard line. Darren Thomas throws, caught, and that is Anthony Thomas.
Responding to some real adverse situations.
Option toss. Thomas on the edge. Anthony Thomas across the 30. Thomas, the sprinter, knocked out near the 45.
I think Alabama's clearly going to be in that game.
Darren Thomas, option toss. That's Thomas with the blocker ahead. Thomas all the way down to the 30. We'll host the Pac-12 championship game next week against UCLA. Anthony Thomas takes the pitch on 1st down and sprints for 11. Anthony Thomas on 3rd down has the 1st down, spinning away from a tackle. Thomas bursting past another one. Barner and Thomas in the slots. Darren Thomas to the end zone. Caught, touchdown, Anthony Thomas. Ducks into the end zone again. Darren Thomas pressured, heaving long, and caught inside the 10.
So the Badgers, leading it, will kick it off. It'll be fielded on the 4 by Thomas. First time he's touched the ball. Close to the 30-yard line. And exploding into the middle is Anthony Thomas. Can't catch him. Touchdown, Oregon. His nickname is Black Mamba. And he has struck for 91 yards. Still an end. An electrifying run by Anthony Thomas. Henry in a foot race. Too much speed. Back from the end zone is that man again, Anthony Thomas. Left side. shakes a tackle out near midfield. And that's DeAnthony coming around, got the handoff on that jet sweep, looking for that sideline, and he's got it again. One man. Henry can't get there. That's his second touchdown. Already he's got the record with a 91-yarder from scrimmage, and now on the jet sweep, a 64-yarder.
Touchdown before we get another touchdown. Great run by DeAnthony Thomas. Good job of sealing the edge. But watch LaMichael James, the all-star hotshot tailback. Great effort right there to knock down Marcus Cromartie, to open it up to the outside and give DeAnthony Thomas more room to the sideline to eventually get all the way to the end zone.
Coming into the Badger fans part of the field. Throws in underneath. DeAnthony breaks free, steps out, first down.
The line reacted, and Brett Bielema ended up calling a timeout.
So here's Abrederis. Makes a fair catch at the 12. And look who's down on top of him. DeAnthony Thomas, who had been practicing all week as one of the gunners. And they send him in at this time to make sure that Abrederis does not get a return. How about this freshman here tonight? One of the gunners after 2 long touchdowns, including a record setter, 91 yards, the longest run from scrimmage, and there he was all over Abrederis.
For a quarterback.
Mario Tom with time, and that is complete inside the 10 to DeAnthony Thomas. First and goal, Oregon, just like that. The pitch to Thomas, and watch out for the speed here. DeAnthony Thomas, a flag is down as he makes his way across the goal line, but we will check the flag.
Down after the penalty enforcement.
So they mark the penalty, and it still gives them the first down. Loyola lines up in the backfield. Mario Tom to the goal line, and that is hauled in for a touchdown. DeAnthony Thomas, every which way he does it. Marcus now to the end zone.
Great throw.
I mean, this is just getting silly. Just silly out there. And here comes DeAnthony Thomas. Look at the defensive fronts. Look at that front 7 and how dominant they are compared to other conferences. DeAnthony Thomas, watch out. Spins his way in. And a guy who's getting a lot of preseason Heisman hype is showing you why.
Patrick Sua starting as an inside linebacker due to an injury. And this option, there he goes. Touchdown. The rush. Quick ball just to get it. And there's a flag getting it into the hands of Thomas, and that may be a mask. And look at that burst for a first down. DeAnthony Thomas.
Elusiveness.
Well, they don't have to punt. And they may score. Thomas gets down the sideline. DeAnthony Thomas on 4th down. 51 yards. On the last play of the 3rd, has set Oregon up. Now Thomas gets to the sideline. He was pushed out of bounds.
2nd and 10. Thomas is the lone man in the backfield. Fake the jet screen. Give to Thomas, left side 50, 40. He's to the 30-yard line. He has space in front, turning the legs, and into the end zone. Just like that with a burst of lightning. The Black Mamba for 59 yards. DeAnthony Thomas. Thomas in motion. Pass near side, high stepping 40. Across to the 30. Breaks an ankle, cutting back to the 10. Swerves to the 5. He's into the end zone. May have fumbled the ball to the back of the end zone. Recovered by a lineman. Touchdown, Oregon.
To force a punt.
Tennessee Tech is 0 for 7 now, 3rd down conversion. The punt drives Thomas down to the 20, backs up and then accelerates to his right. A burst off 2 tacklers to the 30, turns the corner 40, across the 50, gets to the far sideline, trying to take an angle back. Instead, he'll run it out of bounds as Tech surrounds him and drives him out at the 26-yard line.
Don't allow him to break contain.
Mariota back to throw. A man open at the 5. Touchdown, Oregon. DeAnthony Thomas sneaking out of the backfield. Thomas has done it again. His second touchdown of the afternoon.
Mariota here on 3rd and 7. And Thomas, little shake and bake. Watch out. 61-yard punt last time he booted it. Uh-oh. Here's DeAnthony Thomas. Makes a move midfield. And DeAnthony Thomas has given Oregon prime position.
Mariota reached his second pass to Thomas out of the backfield. And close to another first down. Thomas. DeAnthony Thomas with a straight arm and out of bounds. Garner in motion. Thomas with the handoff. And touchdown Ducks.
They have to win this.
Look at how fast Oregon sets up and snaps it. And here is Thomas for a first down on 1st and 15. Anthony Thomas, watch out if he gets a seam and he crosses midfield. In the backfield with Mariota here on 2nd and 6. Anthony Thomas, how about that? Couple moves and right into the end zone. 16-yard touchdown run. That hurry up that bothers Nick Saban so much, apparently, we found out this week, right?
They even wear their own defense down.
Anthony Thomas quickly straight up the middle for an Oregon first down to the 27-yard line.
Colorado fumbles the kickoff. Oregon takes it, and now Oregon working to the pylon left side. DeAnthony Thomas, touchdown Ducks.
Kenyon Barner came out of the locker room after halftime and simply exploded against the Cougars.
DeAnthony Thomas has run out of bounds, but not before a long run down there, just shy of midfield. On the field and off, left side it comes to DeAnthony Thomas, bounces outside 40, kicks it into 5th gear, and is caught from behind inside the 30-yard line. Kelly say, you know, you can scheme all you want, but what the game comes down to is one-on-one matchups. Can my athlete beat your best athlete? And here's one of the best athletes in the country, DeAnthony Thomas.
Against a pretty talented USC defense.
Dara O'Neal, the sophomore from Louisville, Colorado, kicks off. Thomas is going to let it bounce. Thomas will take it. Thomas turns 20, eludes a tackler, bouncing out left side. Can he get to the edge? Has tacklers ahead, shakes right, moves left near edge, breaks 30, tiptoes 40, across midfield, still turning 30 to the 20. Here he comes, Black Mamba all the way home with a touchdown, Oregon.
No, Kevin, this isn't supposed to happen. Ray Polk has a chance, one of the best defenders on Colorado. He's bottled up, he's contained, he makes people miss, he's not supposed to field the ball. And then, of course, he opens it up, hits the whiskey throttle, and he's gone. Mariota firing, lofting it! Touchdown, the Black Mamba! And just like that, Oregon opens up. On first down, DeAnthony Thomas this time. Thomas running downhill. And Thomas tackled inside. Kenyon Barner putting up huge numbers. They get it to DeAnthony Thomas. Thomas running straight ahead. Needing to force a big play. They get it out to DeAnthony Thomas. And DeAnthony inside the SC 40.
First down on the plus side now for the Ducks. Mariota quickly getting it to Thomas, and when he gets that corner, you see just that little instant burst, and all of a sudden, you have 14 yards downfield. First down to the 34. Here goes the Black Mamba for a first down and crossing midfield. Mariota over the middle, and he gets it complete to DeAnthony Thomas, who fights his way to the 10-yard line. Mariota looking for more and finding it inside the 20 to DeAnthony Thomas. Little screen set up here on 3rd and 13. Look at how fast DeAnthony Thomas is.
Mariota hands off on the end around. Look out, DeAnthony! Reynolds is a youngster out of Florida. They come back with him again for another first down, and now a steady dose of Black Mamba. Inside handoff to Anthony Thomas. Oregon leads for the first time tonight.
Now DeAnthony Thomas. So often when no one touches them. That's right. And that's going to be one of those plays right there. That's more emblematic of what Oregon's offense could be like. These remarkable speed they have where they get outside and no one touches them. And Thomas makes another one. Oh, look at Thomas. Terrific running. Cut back in the middle for the Oregon score.
And there's where we talk about understanding decisive cuts. When you cut, do you get the hard yards? I'll tell you what, great job by DeAnthony Thomas.
And they'll add another. And Thomas will add 6. Thomas takes it down near the goal line.
Cancelli has us underway. At the 6-yard line to Anthony Thomas. Thomas already got a crease. There he goes, and there he goes. He's gone. 94 yards on the opening play. Touchdown. Kansas State just found out what speed really means.
Kick was perfect. I thought DeAnthony Thomas was actually going to step out of bounds. It was put right on the sideline, but you got to cover with discipline and get off blocks, and Kansas State was not able to do that. Guys were stuck on blocks, and DeAnthony Thomas, you just can't give him room. You've got to get bodies on him quickly because you're not going to be able to catch him if he gets in the open field.
And then, this time, Mariota gives off to DeAnthony Thomas on the sweep, and then again the speed to get the first down on the far side. 2nd and 5. Mariota, throwback screen to DeAnthony Thomas, and Thomas follows his blockers all the way. Touchdown. Of the ball game. For the second time, number 6 has a big impact and gets 6. Second score for DeAnthony Thomas, and the Ducks out in front, 15-0.
On 1st and goal, it's Thomas, and Thomas sticks it. Touchdown Ducks.
Cruising altitude. When we last saw Justin, this Oregon football team, they were in the Fiesta Bowl doing just this, running the football. Taking offense to it. He is running as hard as can be. Look at it right now. DeAnthony Thomas gets dragged down. Another first down. You can't expect to run with these speedsters that deep into the play. DeAnthony Thomas gets shoved out of bounds. 1st and 10. It's the handoff to Thomas. Thomas to the outside, now pecks it back in, and Thomas has another first down. You're in decent position against these speedsters in the hip pocket. 1st and 15, it's Thomas. Thomas cuts it back, and he'll walk in the end zone. Thomas up the middle, bumps a defender, and then walks in. 14-0 Oregon. Would have been a great catch. Instead, it turns into an interception.
Thomas, look at that quickness. Good grief. Thomas. That one had some heat on it, though. Yeah, it did. Here comes Thomas. Look at that burst. Holy cow. Field on that one. Fake to Thomas. Then they'll swing it to him. Thomas across midfield. Down near the 30. And Oregon with the hurry up. And it's Thomas. Well, you just hold your breath every time he turns the corner. Thomas again on that option read look. What a cut. Gets to the outside, steps out of bounds, first down at the Virginia 33-yard line.
How to run faster. They spend time doing everything to get faster.
Thomas back in the ballgame on a sweep. Blocker in front. Used it very well. Picked up 10. To the outside. Nice cut back down to the 3. DeAnthony Thomas. And it's a touchdown. His third score of the ballgame. You're not on a one-year contract, are you?
Neither is Butch Jones.
Good point. DeAnthony Thomas. His speed, particularly his acceleration, are ridiculous. Mariota sits in the pocket this time, throws underneath to Thomas. Look at all that room he's got to run. DeAnthony Thomas. You know, he was responsible for 38 touchdowns a year ago. As he gives it to Thomas. Thomas waits on his blocker and then turns on the speed. Are you kidding? Look to the sideline, hope to get the call, hope to take a breath, and then you've got somebody like DeAnthony Thomas.
Play action fake. Now Mariota dumps it off to the side. Dives for the touchdown. DeAnthony. This time he takes it into the end zone for the touchdown.
Defensive tackle Ellis McCarthy right now on the training table with a right knee injury, putting a knee brace on as we speak.
Okay, and meanwhile,
on third down. Mariota firing. See what the officials say. They're going to talk it over, and it's going to be a catch. First down, Ducks. Anthony Thomas in motion. They'll throw it to Dent. Thomas has a little room in the block. First down, and he's into Stanford territory, knocked out of bounds by Jordan Richards.
Brought to you by Vizio.
After the latest Jordan Williamson field goal, Conrad Uko-Prina kicked it off. DeAnthony Thomas. Thomas, who had a huge fumble in this game, make a play, gets across the 40 as we check in with Chris Cotter.
Thomas will have a chance to return from the 4. DeAnthony Thomas breaks across the 35-yard line up to 36.
Was able to avoid the corner blitz and get a nice throw.
Mariota on first and goal. Look at the time. Throws the end zone. Touchdown, DeAnthony Thomas. DeAnthony Thomas in the end zone. On first down, the handoff to Thomas. And Thomas with a good run. He gets 11 on first down. DeAnthony Thomas is back deep. Andy Phillips to kick off. Last time they went short. This time they will kick off to Thomas, who takes it at the 14. Thomas hits a hole. He's dangerous. There he goes. DeAnthony Thomas. Touchdown Ducks. 86 yards. Second down and 9. Mariota rolling out to the right. He throws on the run and completes the pass. DeAnthony Thomas.
Who did an excellent job leading the way for his running back.
Mariota. His pass is complete to the far side to DeAnthony Thomas. Another first down.
Emotions right now.
Well, I think he's absolutely right as they swing it out to Thomas. DeAnthony Thomas with that speed down the sideline inside the 30 to the 25. Three-man rush for Arizona. Mariota with time. What a catch! DeAnthony Thomas with his right hand. Holy cow! And here's where Oregon usually hurts the other team when they're in trouble. They go 97 yards in a heartbeat. Thomas to the 19-yard line.
A sensational play for the interception earlier.
Thomas again.
That's easy sometimes with how much ball handling there is in a spread shotgun.
Mariota with 3 rushing and 8 covering throws to DeAnthony Thomas. A huge bullet early.
First and goal from the 5. DeAnthony Thomas bounces it back. Cuts back. Touchdown.
They'll host for the second straight year.
On first down, DeAnthony Thomas again with a cutback. DeAnthony Thomas takes the short kick. Thomas, he's dangerous. Thomas to the outside, and he slips, and he goes down across the 40 at the 42. The handoff to Thomas. Thomas hits the hole. And he gets shoved out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Handoff again to Thomas. Thomas getting the outside. They're trailing by 5 right now. On first down, Thomas takes the handoff. And a good run by DeAnthony Thomas. He gets 12 up to the 28.
Plus a pop for number 8. Here he is, play action, down the middle, wide open DeAnthony Thomas. And Thomas down to the 36-yard line.